Welcome to Cooking School with Mama Rowe. I'm your host, Ashley Rowe. This is a video series to demonstrate basic to intermediate cooking skills for the beginner home cook. Welcome to Cooking School. On this episode, we're going to be making yellow cupcakes with vanilla buttercream frosting. You're going to need powdered sugar, granulated sugar, all-purpose flour, milk, vanilla, butter, eggs, baking powder, salt, your measuring cups and spoons, and your electric mixer, paddle attachment, and mixing bowl. We've added all of our ingredients to the mixer except for the frosting. We're going to turn this on to low speed and let it incorporate, and then we will follow the instructions on how long to mix it. We've allowed our mixer to mix for about 30 seconds or so to get it all combined. Then we're going to turn it on to a high speed for 3 minutes and scrape the bowl in between. So about a minute and a half, we'll stop it and scrape the bowl. We did about a minute and a half of it just running on high speed. We've turned it off and lowered the bowl, or you're going to remove the mixer up, or whatever you do for your mixer, and we're just going to scrape the bottom and the sides of the bowl just to make sure that everything on the bottom and the sides is getting incorporated nicely. And then we're going to turn it on for about another minute and a half, and then we'll put it into our pans. And just use your beater to help take the batter off of your spatula. We're going to turn this back on to high. We'll see you in a bit. We've mixed for about another minute and a half. We're going to lower the bowl, or remove the beater out of the bowl, and make sure that that bottom is scraped again. You can see that it's basically ready to go because of the consistency of it and how it has a sheen to it, and it all looks combined. So we're going to go ahead and scrape the bottom of the bowl again just to make sure it's all combined, and then we're going to add it to our pan. Other equipment you're going to need for this recipe are cooling racks, 1 to 2 cupcake baking pans, your cupcake liners, and your baking ice cream scoop. We have lined our cupcake pans with the paper liners, and we're going to use our scoop to scoop out about a half to 3/4 full cupcake liner. So we're just going to take our batter and scoop it right in. Now this batter should make 24 cupcakes. So if you have a little left over, you're going to have to look for those that you didn't fill very much and go back and fill them up. You have to kind of eyeball it, but it should be pretty much, if you fill the scoop, you should be good to go. I'm trying to not make a mess here as much as possible. So I have a little bit of batter left, and you can see that some of these aren't as full as others, and that's okay, because we just kind of take our bowl and gently fill it up just a little bit to get it to the level that we want it, so that it evenly bakes in the oven with the other cupcakes. We have filled our 24 cupcakes, our cupcake liners, in our pans, and we are going to put it into a 350-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes, or until you touch the cake and it doesn't come back, or a toothpick is inserted and comes out clean. We are going to add our butter and powdered sugar to our mixer, and we're going to combine it. And then once it's combined a little bit, Then we are going to add our milk and vanilla in. And there is our vanilla buttercream. We baked our cupcakes for about 18 minutes. I took a toothpick, stuck it in the center and pulled it out, and there's nothing that came out with it. Therefore, I know they're done. Also, you can touch the top and it comes back. That's how you know they're done as well. This recipe requires us to remove it from the pan as soon as they come out to kind of stop the baking process so you don't overbake and dry them out. So we're going to remove them from the pan safely with a knife. I have a decorator's knife, or you can use a butter knife, like a table knife, and just kind of help yourself pull them out so that you're not touching the hot pan and burning yourself. So you're just going to take them out and put them on a cooling rack and let them cool until you don't have the heat coming out of them at all, and then we can ice them. We have let our cupcakes come to room temperature. We let them cool down, meaning that when you touch them, there's no heat coming off of them either on the bottom, sides, or top. They're room temperature. I've taken my cup and I put my pastry bag with my star tip in it, inside of it, so that I can easily put my icing in the bag and use 2 hands to do the icing and not hold the pastry bag. So we're going to take our pastry bag out of the cup with our star tip, push our star tip all the way to the bottom of the bag, and we're going to snip off the edge of the bag with our scissors. Make sure that star tip gets all the way, which it's not, so we're gonna have to snip off just a little bit more. Don't do too much because then it'll come out the sides and not through the tip. So we're gonna go ahead and snip this again. There we go, that'll work. And then you want to just kind of flick your icing to the bottom of the bag, hold the top, twist it, and it comes out of your bag. You're going to start on the edge of your cupcake, and you're going to pipe around the edge of the cupcake. Now you can either twist the cake or twist the bag, whichever works best for you. I've been doing this for a little while, so this comes pretty naturally for me. So you can take the piping bag around the edge, and all you're doing is just squeezing with your top hand. So this hand up here, I'm just squeezing, that's where the pressure comes from. That's why you want to get the icing as far down from the top of the bag as possible and twist it, because it keeps the icing in the tip of the bag. And we're just going to frost our cupcakes. If you're going to add sprinkles, this is the point where you want to put sprinkles on it, because then your icing is wet and it hasn't set yet, and the sprinkles will stick to the icing. So we're just going to frost our 24 cupcakes and show you our finished product. As you can see, my icing is kind of coming down. So I'm going to flatten it at the top. I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to squeeze the icing down to the tip of the bag to where it comes out evenly on the bottom, and then continue to ice. Welcome to Tip Talk, where we talk tips about cupcakes and the buttercream frosting. When you only have one pan that has 12 slots in it, You need to cover the remaining batter and put it in the refrigerator until you're ready to bake the rest of it. You add the 1 to 2 minutes on the cook time because it has to bring itself back to room temperature. When adding food coloring to either your cake batter or your frosting, add it when it tells you to add the liquid so that it gets incorporated before the end of the mixing and you don't overmix it. When you're adding sprinkles to the top of your cupcakes, while you're piping the frosting or putting the frosting onto your cupcake, that's when you want to sprinkle it. Don't wait until you have all of them done, because the first one you frosted, the sprinkles won't stick to it. So it's a kind of as you go process. You may have to double the batter for your frosting or cut the cake batter in half. For this particular recipe from Betty Crocker, for some reason it doesn't frost all the cupcakes, but it will frost a cake. There are other star tips or other tips or no tips to put into your piping bag or your Ziploc bag. Just kind of cut off the end of the bag and it will give you a nice round, pretty circle without having the extra little divots in it like the star does. Just be creative and have some fun with your icing. Thanks for joining us today on Cooking School. I'm Mama Ro. We'll see you next time and enjoy some sweet treats.